Hey, this is Susan Ferraro from EasyDoesIt.com, creator of the Easy Money program, where I help women, high-achieving women who've created some success, and they want to recreate that success in a way where they do not have to sacrifice their health or their wealth or their health for their wealth. And what I want to talk about today is really one of the core roots of why so many of us high-achieving, high-performing women get stuck in these ways of making money and these ways of creating our success, our life, our businesses, even the way that we work. And it really comes back to this core belief inside of us. And what it has to do with feminism, first of all, I just want to go on record saying that I am a feminist. And what I mean by that is I believe in equal rights for women. I believe in equal human rights for the entire human race. In fact, if there are aliens here and they are inhabiting this planet, they deserve the same rights as well. Everyone deserves the right to be themselves, to create what they want to create, to find their path to becoming themselves, whatever that may look like. But where things went wrong, and it actually didn't even start with the women's liberation movement, that just kind of highlighted what was going on in the collective. I remember being young. I actually you may have listened to a podcast. I talked about this a long time ago, years ago. I remember being younger, and, my mom always raised me in a very empowered way, female empowerment. And she was very much like, do not depend on a man for money. The person who has the money in the relationship has the control. If they can do it, we can do it, and she chilled out as she got older, but back in the day, she was all about extreme independence. And I grew up with that in my psyche, and also from other reasons, which I won't get into on this live, from our early childhood conditioning, but just in our culture alone, that thinking of, in order to be as valuable is what we're saying, equal to a man or the masculine energy, we need to take on and value those masculine traits over the feminine traits. And what has happened is we have really, as a society in Western culture, especially in the US, devalued the feminine. And what that looks like, if you're not familiar with masculine and feminine energy and the traits that go along with it, the masculine is very much about survival, productivity, function, intention, purpose, drive, ambition. All of these things are beautiful things. There's nothing wrong with them. We all have that within us. However, when we are thinking that we are better, more lovable, more valuable, inherently our worth is more because we are more productive, because we do so much, this poses a problem, especially for women, biological women. Many of us, I'm sure there are exceptions, but many of us do not have the hormonal constitution to work and live that way. And that's why so many of us burn out and we don't know how to stop, right? And this is what has happened to me and has happened with so many women, and a lot of the women that I work with. We might have left corporate jobs where we were very successful. That was my story. And then go into the online world to create a business because we're longing for that freedom, right? To get our life back. And we can't do it because every time we try to rest, every time we try to do less, we have these monsters, these demons in our mind creep up, making us feel guilty for it, making us feel like we're not doing enough to be worthy of the money that we're trying to make. And in order to make money, you need to have something of value to exchange for it, right? So if what you believe is valuable is your doing, baby, you are capped. You are capped because you can only do so much. Your body can only take so much, especially if you're a woman. If you have more testosterone, if you leave gender out of this and you just think from purely hormone standpoint, if you have more testosterone, you're going to be able to do more. You're going to be able to push harder. You're going to have a different energetic makeup than if you don't. And if you don't, it starts to erode you. We have a cycle that resets every 30 days, give or take a few days, right? A biological man's cycle resets every 24 hours. And we are not designed to work like we are factory robots. And that is what we have been conditioned. If, you look at our schools, that's what we're conditioned to work like our whole entire life. You graduate high school, finally, it feels like jail. You finally graduate high school, you go to college. It's a little more freedom, but it's still the same type of system. And now you go into the working world and you're doing the same thing. You are a little fucking robot. And then we try to create our own business and we don't have anyone watching over us, but we're still conditioned that way. And that's what happened to me. And I had to turn that all around. And the way that I did that was learning, and still do that, is learning to value and reconnect with and allow those feminine energies within me. So things like rest, play, fun, pleasure, beauty, luxury, all of these things that we have deemed less than. It's not that we don't have them in our culture, right? But when you are going, if you look at your belief system, and when so many of us go to make money in our own business, we feel the need to do. Our value is very much attached to the doing, the give more to get more. But when you're doing that, someone's losing. You're losing, right? It's not a pie. Abundance and money, it doesn't work like a pie. It's energetic, right? So when you are making money from your feminine or leading from your feminine energy, and you can be a man or a woman doing this, right? Leave gender out of it if you have to. But when you are making money from that point of view, right? You're now, think about it, the feminine allures, it attracts. It pulls things in, it magnetizes, right? And this is about embodiment, whereas the masculine is very much about up in your head. It's about the mind, right? It's about figuring things out. That's not what the feminine is. The feminine is in her body. And this feels really scary to someone like myself, or someone who has been in their masculine and feels safer in their masculine for most of their life, where they have taken on that role. And even though I don't, I'm a heterosexual woman, but I have a lot of masculine energy. My masculine energy is very developed. And that is because I did not feel safe most of my life, in most areas of my life, to be in the feminine. Because in order to be in the feminine, you need to let your guard down. There's no guard, right? So as you move into this space, money shows up differently for you. It's less give to get. It's not a bartering system, right? It's reflected. And that is just a different way of creating in the universe. You can absolutely make money the other way, but if you're tired of trying to make money the other way and you're burning out and it doesn't feel good anymore, and your mind is exhausted and you're overwhelmed and feeling like you can't even maintain what you've created. This is how I used to feel. And I would just push myself to, in the red zone, I call it, which is really duality, where I'd go all in, super masculine energy, push, force. And then I would be forced to go out in a disempowered feminine way where I had to rest and recover and I couldn't do anymore. And then I would feel that sense of dependence, like I couldn't feel independent. It would make me feel really out of control and really unfree. And so again, I had to learn to start to value those aspects of me that I had lost along the way, because I used to be, what we consider like a girly girl. I was always into fashion. That's where I came out of, the fashion industry and fashion design. But somewhere along the way, in all of, the achieving and getting to the top, I just became all function, no form, all about the work, and then the same thing happened in my business. And I just started to lose that part of myself that loved beauty just for the sake of beauty, because it feels good. All of those sensual delights that we really come to this 3D realm to experience, right? If you don't want to experience these things, don't come here. You can stay in spirit. Right? You have a body with sensation. Don't you want to see beauty? Don't you want to see the beauty in everything? Don't you want to touch things and feel things that feel good and experience all of those things with your body, in your body? And in order to do that, number one, you have to do the work to feel safe again. And number two, as you do that, you begin to value that again. So then when you want to do your work in the world, whatever that may be, express yourself in the world through your business, through your art, whatever it is, you now are valuing that. You're valuing you. You can't truly value you if you're stuck in one way, right? There are many of us who are stuck in a disempowered state or disempowered feminine state. Many of us who get stuck in the disempowered masculine state. When you come into wholeness, right? You are in balance. Your masculine and feminine are in balance. I'm so grateful that I have a very developed masculine state. I truly feel like I can handle anything. I've been through a lot, both in my work and success-wise and just in my life, right? And I'm truly, truly grateful for that. But life is short, and it's really, I'm never going to experience the whole of life or feel that sense of wholeness if I don't allow the beauty, if I don't allow the pleasure and allow myself to sit in that feminine place. And when you sit in that feminine place and you let yourself fully be there, you're in receiving mode, right? Whatever you are giving from that place, you are giving and receiving at the same time. It's not that bartering system that so many of us live in our culture, right? This is where the magic happens. If you're a manifester and you've manifested things out of the blue, I promise you were probably in your feminine. You didn't have to do anything for it, right? Came to you easily. If you've experienced that, that's feminine energy. And you can cultivate that. You can live leading with that. And if you're a woman who feels better leading with your feminine, it's going to change your life. It's going to change your health. It really will. But again, this isn't about gender. I want to make that really clear, because all of us, every single one of us has masculine and feminine energy, and every single one of us has a different balance that is optimal for us. So I might have more masculine energy than some other women out there, or I might need to express myself in the masculine more than some other women out there in order for me to stay in a balance that works for me. And all I'm talking about is, in order to be in a state of wholeness where you are not living from a sense of lack, you need to find that balance that works for you. And you do that by allowing yourself to follow your inspiration. And you're going to see that a lot of times your inspiration is going to be, especially if you've been in the masculine, you're going to see that whatever you are truly inspired to do in that moment, it's probably in the feminine. You will have masculine too, but a lot of times you're going to need the recovery. So you're going to want to just sit. You're going to want to take a nap. You're going to want to, I'm at the park right now on a swing staring at nature, and I got inspired to make this live, right? So my work is coming through me in an effortless way when I am taking care of myself and really finding that balance that works for me. Make sense? So we all have it. We can all do it. And it's such a much easier, more nourishing, healthy, more free way to live. And if you are resonating with what I'm saying on here and you're tired of that all in, all out red zone, I want you to check out my program, Easy Money, EASE-Y money.com, and have a look at it, because it really goes to the core of your belief system around all of this and helps you put it all back into balance. It gives you the exercises, the tools, and the practices that you can use, that I have used to turn it all around so you can make money in a new way that feeds you, that feeds your soul, feeds your body, feeds your bank account, instead of draining them. Okay, I'm signing off. Hi, everyone. Let me know if you have questions in the comments, and I will see you soon.